Hello guys, Charles here and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be covering the altered sound world. We're going to be discussing the altered scale, the altered chord and where best to apply the altered tonality. I remember a very specific occasion in a big band rehearsal, probably in my mid to late teens, encountering an altered chord in a big band chart and not knowing what it was, but to spare my embarrassment rather than just asking someone, I said to the piano player, I went, you know, I think our voicings are clashing on that altered chord. Could you just show me what you're playing there? And then I just copied the notes that he was playing. So hopefully after watching this video, you'll spare yourself that shame, humiliation, and lifelong embarrassment by just simply knowing it already. So the altered scale can be thought of quite simply as the seventh mode of the melodic minor scale. Another way to think of that is whichever note you're on, play the melodic minor scale a semitone up. If you need to learn your melodic minor scale, then please check out my melodic minor mastery video where we went through it in great detail, and you can see that up here. Now, although thinking of the altered scale as the semitone below the melodic minor and all this stuff is a great start, we do have to learn it in its own right and eventually just see it completely separate from the melodic minor scale. Otherwise, we're playing one scale and thinking in another key at the same time, and it's just too much to think about. So the point of this video is to try and get us to play the altered scale and think of it as a unique entity. For this reason, we're going to relearn our caged positions, ensuring that each position is built from the root of the altered scale and not the root of its parent melodic minor. Now don't worry about the note names you're seeing in these examples for now, we'll cover that in a moment. Now although relearning these caged positions will take quite a bit of time and will probably lead to less comfortable positions than you had for your melodic minor, the most important thing here is the mindset shift. We want to see better how the altered scale is constructed and to connect the root of that altered scale to the root of each of our caged position chords. So spend some time fleshing out those octave chunks of the altered scale which I've given you to go all the way to the highest note of each position and the lowest note of each position. Labeling the degrees of the altered scale can be confusing and slightly problematic because we need to refer them to an altered chord, which is what we're going to look at now. So as is often the case in jazz, let's start by trying to construct a root, third, fifth, seventh chord built on the root of our altered scale. Now, when we're looking at this chart here, you can see we've got a couple of problems. One of the issues is that we seem to have a major and a minor third. If we're trying to construct a root, third, fifth, seventh chord, we've got an issue there because we don't know which third to use. Now, we've also got seemingly a flat 5 and a sharp 5. So again, which one do we use? Are we going to use the flat 5 or the sharp 5? Now to solve this problem, we need to really understand what an altered chord is and what an alteration really means. So an altered chord is simply a dominant chord which contains every possible alteration. An alteration can be thought of as the raising or lowering of the 5th, 9th, 11th and 13th degrees of a chord. Now, I've written out here all of the possible alterations. Now, I've written the 5th here in red because really they're not technically alterations, although we can alter them. What we're really doing is changing the basic triad of the chord itself. So, of course, if we flatten a 5th, we're really building a diminished triad. and if we raise a fifth, we're really building an augmented triad. However, if you want to think of those as alterations, that's perfectly fine. They sometimes present as an alteration. For example, instead of a half diminished chord, we sometimes call it a minor 7 flat 5 chord. The ninth can be raised or lowered. We can have a flat 9 and we can have a sharp 9. The sharp 9 is the enharmonic equivalent of a minor third, so we can't have a sharp 9 in a minor chord. The 11th can be sharpened, but if we lower it, it simply becomes a major third. So we can only sharpen an 11th degree. Likewise with the 13th, when we raise it, it simply becomes the enharmonic equivalent to a flattened 7th, and therefore the 13th can only be flattened. So the altered scale with every alteration could therefore be defined as root, flat 9, sharp 9, third, sharp 11, flat 13, flat 7. The only issue with that is that there is no fifth, and of course we were trying to build a root, third, fifth, 7th chord. For this reason I prefer to relabel the flat 13th as a sharp 5th, but the choice is ultimately yours. That would give us root, flat 9, sharp 9, third, sharp 11, sharp 5th, and flattened 7th. So it's a really weird scale. Ultimately you have 2 second degrees, a flat 2 and a sharp 2, and then whichever way you spell it, you're either omitting a 4th, a 5th, or a 6th. So it ends up being a really weird scale at the end of the day. Now, in terms of the correct way to define it, I think with altered chords and altered scales, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you understand it. So as long as you understand this theory, you can just write out the simplest enharmonic equivalents, and it's easiest to read, clearest for someone else to play it, and that's absolutely fine. That's the most important thing at the end of the day, is that we could actually play it. Make sure you understand the theory, learn some of the complicated ways to write it out, and then whenever you actually use this or think of this, just think of it the clearest and easiest way for you. So to play an altered chord, technically we need to play a dominant 7th chord with every possible alteration in it. In practice, however, that's not physically possible, and so we tend to just choose the best voicings for us, the ones that we like, that fit nicely underneath our fingers. So an easy go-to shape that I use quite a lot if I'm just comping for an altered chord would be based on this classic 9 shape. So I construct this chord so that my middle finger is 1 fret higher on the E string than the root of my altered chord. So if I wanted B altered, I would build this on the 7th fret with my first finger and then bar across 8, 8, 8 with my middle finger. And a great thing about this chord is I can put my little finger off and on as well. So as with any chord, the most colourful degrees of the scale are going to be the alterations. We'll know by the function of this chord that it's a dominant chord, so we don't necessarily need the root, third, fifth and 7th in the final chord itself. So let's try to build some more modern voicings using the flat 9, sharp 11 and flat 13, sharp 5, whatever you want to call it. We'll use the chord rotation method, which we learned in the previous video, which you can check out up here, to turn our beginning voicing into 3 more. So again, this would be a B7, and my starting voicing using the open strings, which gives us a nice open modern sound, I'm going to be playing the flat 9, which in B would be C. I'm going to be playing the sharp 9, which in B would be C double sharp, or in other words D, and I'm going to be playing that on the B string here, 3rd fret. I'm then going to be adding the sharp 11, which in B would technically be an E sharp, and that's up here on the top 1st fret of the E string. And finally adding the sharp 5 or flat 13, which again in B would be an F double sharp. And I'm going to be using the open G string for that, which is the enharmonic equivalent. Already you can hear how complicated it gets when we think about these correctly and use the correct labeling of each note. So again, that's an example of why you should just label the notes whatever's most convenient. So in this case, we'd say C, G, D, and F. And that's a B altered. Now, although some charts will occasionally request an altered 7th chord, it is pretty rare and you're more likely just to see chords with specific alterations added to the end of them. But any chord which features some of the alterations included in the scale, which we've already discussed, will sound pretty good with the altered scale. But as with most outside chromatic sounding concepts, they really fit best over a minor 2-5-1. Now you can spot a minor 2-5-1 by a minor 7 flat 5, otherwise known as a half diminished chord, followed by a 7 flat 9. So whenever you see that, you can treat both chords as one package, as we discussed in the Family of 4 video, which you can see up here. And over that entire thing, you can play the altered scale on the root of that dominant chord. Another great chord to play this scale over is actually the augmented chord. The augmented chord normally takes the whole tone scale. Well, if you look at the altered scale, you'll notice it's almost a whole tone scale, but the second degree of the whole tone scale has been almost encircled. We've got the semitone below it and the semitone above it. So you can think of the altered scale as a whole tone with a split second degree. So hopefully you feel a little bit more confident with the concept of the altered scale and the altered chord and the tonality in general. As with any concept, the best thing to do is just start trying to use it as soon as possible, and you'll completely ruin it, make some awful sounds, and in doing so, you'll learn where it does work and where best to apply it. The most important thing, though, for me, is to try and think of the altered scale as a scale in its own right, removed from the melodic minor. Try as soon as possible to move away from that convenient at first format of, oh, well, it's B7, so I'm just going to play C melodic minor. We're thinking of too much stuff there. Try your best to simply learn the altered scale as a B altered scale, or a C altered scale, or a D altered scale, and know what that is without having to refer to it as, oh yeah, it's the 7th mode of the melodic minor. It's just too confusing. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to be trying out the altered scale. If you already know altered scale ideas, please share those with us down in the comments below. Let us know your tips, what worked for you to really get to grips with the altered sound world. Please do give this video a like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and share this video with any of your friends who, like me, find themselves in a big band setting and not knowing what an altered chord is. And as always, I hope you're all doing very well, getting plenty of practice in, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.
Roll up, let me embed a story you'll never forget. A drip, drip, you're drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out. And I heard you find it difficult to cope well. Here by this bottle full of hope.